ride 88.
We really having it. I've been jumping on the porch on my 7 shit. Turn a deuce to a 5 like a magic trick. I can beat up that block, is my heritage.
What's going on, y'all? Cutty from Cutty TV.
And this is Chill Will from Highly Requested at Grand Niggas Entertainment. We are here from Volcanoes Records Studio live on Dummy Entertainment, Hardest One Out tour. Let's get it, y'all.
Hey man, look, we're in the building. We got a lot of talent for y'all that we're gonna show y'all. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned on Dummy Entertainment, Cutty TV. Nothing else that you need to see.
Yes, sir.
My nigga young pay, so we came for the takeover, we getting this shit out the mud. If a nigga won't play like we feelin' with hollow, we clutching on metal with slugs. I just spent so much cash, I'm thinking this shit getting bad. These niggas think I'm Illuminati.
Peace, love, and power, family. It's Jed Nico from Orlando, Florida. Shouts to On Dummy Entertainment. We at the Hardest Out tour, Las Vegas. Fuck with your boy.
Alright, coming to you guys live from Volcano Studios on Dummy Entertainment in conjunction with Highly Requested right on Q Radio. We got one heck.
Facts, you can't forget about Cutty TV.
Oh, almost forgot. Not step on no toes. Shout out Pay TV as well, y'all. We are here with the Hardest One Out tour. We are joined by one of our contestants. Man, how you been?
I'm blessed out here. It's Jed Nico from Orlando, Florida. We out here. Big shout out to On Dummy Entertainment.
The energy is everything with you. Like, that was the number one thing that drew me about you, your energy. You suck it in. What gives you that confidence that you could just come in the room and express yourself and you're not really worried about what nobody else says and you just want to put it all out there?
I think it's just my lane. Like, my lane is to be humble and to shine like a child of God. And that's it. You know, there's no pressure behind that. You know, it's peace and it's like fulfilling to just be you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm most comfortable doing that, being me. You know what I'm saying? Everything else feels forced, but I think that's where the energy comes from. And it also comes from coming from dark places. You know, people who've been through dark places, they tend to shine brighter and want to elevate the room because we don't like dark places. If you've been from dark places and you're tired of that shit, you're going to come into the room and shine a little brighter, right? So that's where the energy comes from.
I love that.
You know, we got a chance to chop it up a little bit after you did your set, you know, and you have one heck of a spirit. And, you know, you were telling me a little bit about what you've been through and, you know, your life story. I just want you to kind of like, you don't have to go into too much detail, but let the people know a little bit of what you've been through and how you kind of put that into your music.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I was born and raised in the city of Orlando, East Orlando, but my parents are from a third world country, the Philippines.
Okay.
They immigrated from a very difficult life. I got to see where my father was from in the streets in the Philippines. I've never seen poverty like this before, so coming back to the States, it really humbled me, you know? But growing up as a first generation American, it was difficult for us too. Like, I grew up in the midst of police brutality at a young age before it was prevalent on the news. We grew up in the midst of street violence, gang violence, domestic violence. You know, I lost my loved one to gun violence, you know, from things like this, like real city stuff that people from the city deal with. And, you know, after getting caught up in the street life and seeing people lose their life, I decided I had to switch it up, give my life to God, and elevate the community through hip hop specifically. Like, I wanted to speak my message, tell my city's story, but in a way where I could breathe life. You feel me? Like, there's so much going on in turmoil in 2021 that I needed to breathe life into my city, you know?
Yes, sir.
That's where I'm coming from. So that's where I'm from and where we are right now. That's the mission.
Yes, sir.
That's the mission. That's the goal.
You know, I commend that.
What is something that, like, because I feel like you got a lot of spirit inside of you, and it's a lot of people that's been inside of your situation that have, you know, gone through a long stretch of this life where it was just hard for them. How do you flip that switch? Because there's people out there that want to flip that switch, that want to go towards God, but don't have that confidence. How do you, like, how can you direct them to that direction? Because it seems like you completely switched your whole life from bad to good, and it's working out for you, and there's a lot of people out there that want to do that same thing. So how can you help them?
Well, just to give you context, like, I didn't flip the switch until I hit rock bottom. And some people need to hit rock bottom until they flip the switch. I was facing 5 years in prison. You know, I had just got done with a divorce. I was losing time with my daughters. I lost holidays with my children because I was in jail. I had no choice but to flip the switch. When jobs aren't coming because you have a criminal background, when corporate America is not doing it for you because you're not in your lane. And God's saying you need to speak to the community through music. You gotta flip the switch on. So if anybody's struggling on how do I flip my switch, it's human will. You gotta put all of your will. Nothing can resist the human will that knows what it's supposed to do. Nothing. That's a fact. So when you know, hey, this is me. I'm a spokesperson of my community, because that's all I am. I'm just a spokesperson of my community. My mission is to elevate my people. And I'm gonna try to do it through this music thing. That's it. When you know that, it's a wrap. But spend time, you know, I always tell artists, entrepreneurs, spend time going to nature, going to a state park, tune out, and see what's inside here, and be true to that. That's my mission, to be true to this, and to encourage people, yo, tune out from everything, and tune into this. So it's time.
You know, we were talking about it in the hallway yesterday as well, you know, when you're operating in the lane that God has you in, when you're operating within your calling, within the force that is driving your spirit to keep going forward, that's when you really get a chance to let everything else fall by the wayside. And that's when you really get a chance to tap in and tune in to what you're doing. So, you know, honestly, man, I feel every single lyric that you put out.
I appreciate that.
And it kind of makes me think, you know, that you're trying to set an example for your daughters, but also set an example for the people that are in the industry right now. You know, what's something that you could impart upon anybody else that's trying to do the same thing on the same way, do stuff like you, kind of change the game and bring something more positive?
So I live by like a really solid model. There's a few of them, but when it comes to music, my motto is elevate the space. Keep it simple. Whenever you're in the booth, elevate the space. If you want to make the people dance, elevate it. Bring that energy in there. If you want to speak a message, elevate the space. If you want to talk your shit and be prideful about self, hard work, and discipline, elevate the space. So that's what I tell the artists and stuff. You know, live by that. Very simple. When we're here, let's change the room. Let's shift the energy and be intentional about that.
All right, so before you leave us,
yes sir, yes sir,
ain't going that
yes sir, yes sir.
Before you leave us, you are in Vegas.
Yes.
On Dummy Entertainment.
Yes.
Can you leave us with a good leave out of an inspirational message for everybody who's gonna watch this? Just a piece from you.
Yes, absolutely.
They're gonna watch your performance. Give them a piece of you now.
Yes. Well, big shout outs to On Dummy Entertainment. Everybody involved. Push Global. That's Jed Nico from Orlando. I just want to say this one thing. Life is now. No matter where you're at, no matter where you're from, or in your career, life is now. It's not tomorrow, it's not yesterday. Focus on this moment, 100%. Just pay attention to now. And we're gonna make it through this. We're gonna be all right out here. It's difficult, but focus on now and elevate the space. We out here.
That's right.
Yes,
Black society, I will be in the alley. Do my thing with no apologies. Slay at the beat like it's Socrates. Cruising artists an anomaly. Still stopping while I spark the weed.
What up, I'm Simply Dan from Orlando, Florida. Hardest Out Tour on Dummy Network. Let's get it.
yes, sir, yes, sir. We have Simply Dan and Cutty from Cutty TV.
What's going on, man?
On Dummy Record Entertainment and right on Q Radio, highly requested. Giving you your artist interview for the Hardest Out Tour. Like I said, Simply Dan, hailing from Orlando, Florida. How you feeling, Simply Dan?
I feel fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad.
First time in Vegas, so enjoying myself a little bit. It's a little hot, but what do you expect being in the desert?
Man, listen, man, we got this heat wave going on, man, so it's about to get even hot.
You came from Florida, sir, right?
Yes, sir.
And you, this is your second performance?
I would consider probably the first, but this was definitely like the second. If you want to, how many times I pick up a mic on stage, probably the second.
Okay, so what was the transition coming from like Florida to Vegas on the West Coast? You're on a whole new coast, it's a whole different time zone. How was that switch?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I fly out to California and Colorado for like leisure, just for fun, usually. So coming out here wasn't like, you know, nothing too big for me. Travel a lot, so it was a transition of time and just being in here. Biggest thing is I got off the plane, it was like 11 o'clock. It was hot. It was hot, right?
10 out of
I walked into an oven and I was like, all right, so I'm back on the plane.
That's
So, if you could name the type of style that you do, what would you
Oh
list it out
man,
for people as?
I'm very versatile, so I would say I'm between hip hop, rap, conscious rap, and then I have like a whole pop aspect on it.
Okay,
So I'm like in all categories. That's like what I strive for, versatility, because I want to be able to hit all vocal ranges. I want to start to get into R&B and stuff like that. But right now I'm just in this hip hop, pop, rapper kind of vibe right now. So I describe it like that. Yeah.
So what do you like specifically identifying towards your music? Like, you know, everybody makes music for somebody, and everybody has a reason why they make music. So what's your reason?
My reason for making music, pretty much why I got into it because one of my homeboys was like, yo, I want to be a rapper. And I was like, all right, I'll freestyle with you, I'll shoot some bars. And then after a couple months, he was like, yo, all my homies were like, yo, you're nice with it, you should keep going. So I dropped what I was doing, did my sales job, and I decided to start rapping. And then this is about during COVID. That's when I started.
So I started rapping during COVID?
Yeah, about a year or so.
That's a battle.
Listen.
Yeah, trying before COVID was hard. You did it during COVID.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I haven't got a lot of performances.
Right.
Everything was closed, so it was pretty much I was working on pen game. That's all I've been at.
How do you feel jumping into kind of like a virtual era now? Because now music is about to change, going into virtual, going to online. How do you feel about that? Because you kind of missed the live show era. You ain't missed it too much, but it's coming back and it's transitioning. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, honestly, performances are a lot of fun. Something I'm not obviously seasoned to, but that seems like the wave. I would definitely want to get into that. But going into the digital side is cool. Getting numbers, seeing streams, just putting it in front of people's faces. It's a different life. That's technology is so advancing right now that you have to ride that wave. You have to be on that. For sure.
And kind of something that kind of crossed my mind was, how people kind of say when you are gone and past, what people don't remember you by.
Yeah.
With your music specifically, what's your goal in trying to get to that end point, and what does that end point look like for you? When you hang up your microphone and everything like that, what do you want people to remember you by?
Whatever their vision is of me, this is art at the end of the day. I'm expressing myself, so I mean, whatever they see about me, that's what they're gonna see. It doesn't matter what I have to say. I'm just out here doing it myself, being me, who I am, and my legacy is my legacy. Everyone's legacy is their own. When you look at something, you look at a painting, it's you see a different story than I do. So it's the same thing. When you see my music, there's a different story. Most of my music is written about my personal experiences, and then I vicariously listen to people's stories and I write about them. A lot of my music sometimes about my brother, about a friend, my mom, my dad, someone I meet on the street at the club, they tell me something, and my mind just goes crazy, and I try to envision myself in their shoes and write about it. So I mean, it's there's no real end to it.
And kind of something that I tell all artists that I meet as well is, I really admire those who put their life story into their music, because real shit breeds real music. So if you keep that at your base and core, man, ain't nothing gonna stop you. You already started in the middle of the pandemic, man.
And that's hard enough.
Yeah.
So Simply Dan, you up here, you talk to the people. Let them know where they can follow you at, where they can find you at, all new music, all new shows.
Yeah.
Of course, you got Radio City.
Of course, Orlando, Florida. Yeah. So Simply Dan with a C. You can catch me everywhere. All platforms, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. Simply Dan with a C. Tours will be on there. SimplyDan.com. You can check my website out. So if you want to find me, I'm there. Thanks. Shout out to On Dummy Entertainment for hosting this and having me out here. So appreciate you all for interviewing.
Always been.
Alrighty.
So the facts in the cap, I seen it all, more than most. Coast to coast, I like to go through the night. Usually alone, but you can ride.
On Dummy Entertainment, hardest out tour, Las Vegas. Let's get it.
What's going on, man? Cutty from Cutty TV. We are live at Volcano Studios with On Dummy Entertainment. I'm sitting down with the CEO, Eli. How you doing, baby?
All good, bro. Good with you.
For sure. I'm feeling good. You look good. My man right here.
What's good with you, brother? Chill real. What's good with you, bro? Good, man.
Hey, man, so you put on probably one of the biggest events in Las Vegas yesterday. You gave a lot of artists a lot of opportunities, had a lot of dope personalities inside of the building. Just seeing all of that go down, what does that do for you?
Man, right now, I'm honestly just elated, man. I'm so happy right now. I'm so proud of my team and And really, man, I feel good. We had talent from all over,
sure.
you know, to come here to Las Vegas. So thank you all for allowing me to come to your city and do my thing. And thank you all for being a part of it.
Sure.
Thank you for inviting us, man. One question, just to kind of start us off and get the ball rolling. Why did you choose Las Vegas for this?
You want to know something? I had a conversation with a guy, and he spoke about how Las Vegas is really the home for the entertainment, you know, industry. And really, within you just living in Atlanta and just conducting business in Atlanta, you know, you get so happy in the place, you know, that you call home.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on in Atlanta, you know, but coming out to Las Vegas, I have a chance to network with other people and just put my team and put my artists in a greater situation.
So on top of that, you know, in trying to get this together, what was the planning portion of it? Why did you decide to make the Hardest One Out tour and make it into kind of a competition and get somebody out?
Got you. So in January, we just received distribution through Sony Music. So we now have access to all of these resources, and I have several artists on the team. So shout out Mike J, shout out Baby C, shout out 100. You know, some of our artists that we already have. We have artists that's reaching the charts. You know, we've had artists to hit the Billboard charts, hit the iTunes charts. So with these resources, it's like, cool, let's go ahead, go to other places and actually find other artists that, you know, should be in this position to reach these same accomplishments. For sure.
How does it feel? Last night you heard artists from New York, you heard artists from Georgia, not Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
You heard people from Vegas, you heard people from California. How does it feel knowing that you're listening to possibly the next one coming up, the next one that's going to be on the next top 100, the next #1 Billboard? Like, how does it feel knowing that you're hearing them first?
It's exciting, man. You know, I'm very humble when I work with independent artists, because you have to understand, any artist that we've ever been fans of had to get their start as an independent artist. So I have a special respect for independent artists. So I was in here like a fan. We had a chance to, you know, dance. Some of the artists actually knew their lyrics to their songs, so I sang along with several artists, but we had a good time.
For sure.
And I was very pleased with the talent I saw.
For sure.
For sure.
And then like the West Coast talent is very different from Atlanta. I know Atlanta is the base. How was kind of feeling that, hearing that West Coast sound and really seeing the love that they get here?
Right. And that's really one of the reasons why I wanted to come out to the West Coast, because it's truly a different market that we're dealing with. You know, it's even a different sound, and how, you know, events is thrown, and just as far as how artists move, it's a tad bit different on the West Coast. So, you know, all in all, you know, it was a culture shock, just a little bit, but I enjoyed it, and I'm going to be back very soon. Sure.
Well, also another thing that I wanted to ask, you know, I kind of asked another of the artists that was here earlier, but how did the pandemic kind of impact your business a little bit? I know it kind of impacted a lot of artists, but I didn't really get a chance to talk to any record label execs, anybody that's out there trying to, you know, help these artists elevate themselves, get to the higher plateau, or get to the next level. So how is it for you working through the pandemic?
So the booking side is a huge part of what we do. So obviously, you know, the pandemic affected that. However, in Atlanta, you know, we didn't honor that too long. Town, it's been open for some time now. But truly, it gave us a chance to really connect with artists on the digital, you know, platform, just on the digital side. So I've had a chance to really open up the door for several artists, and even this opportunity, the Hardest Out tour was birthed during the pandemic. So essentially, I think that the pandemic for everyone gave everyone a chance to kind of zero in and hone in on what they need to do as an individual. And I think that, you know, all in all, the pandemic, you know, helped us out in a sense.
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
Another thing as well, you know, in doing this, what made you feel like you wanted to make On Dummy entertainment? What drove you to do the artist outreach? What drove you to really make this platform for the artists and give, you know, the extra space for them?
Gotcha. So I've always, I'm not gonna say a rap artist, but you know, I've always been someone that, you know, has an understanding of the music industry. So I've always, you know, been involved with music and been involved with independent artists and been involved with branding and everything else. But, you know, some resources that came into my life within the past past 2 years, it allowed me to be able to help out some of my friends who are artists and some of the people that I knew from my community that were artists. And that, you know, grew into On Dummy Entertainment. And since we came into, you know, since this idea came into fruition, you know, we've just been soaring ever since.
So to close us up, we did Vegas.
Sure.
Of course, we're gonna do LA.
For sure, for sure.
Are we gonna branch off maybe up a little bit, maybe towards Seattle, maybe to Chicago, Texas? Those are some untapped markets that really need the attention of.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I agree with you. Right now, we're actually in the process of locking in Chicago. So Chicago definitely, you know, I'm not opposed to going to the East Coast as well. But the biggest thing when it comes to either tours or anything else, you have to have a focus. So I think that right now, the focus that my team and I has, you know, we're just going to be consistent and be thorough with where we are now, and everyone else just be on the lookout. We got a lot of big things coming.
So just stay tapped in On Dummy Entertainment, Hardest Out Tour, Cutty TV,
Sure.
Right on Q Radio.
and we are logging out, man. Let's get it.
My nigga young pay, so we came for the takeover, we getting this shit out the mud. If a nigga want play like we feelin' with hollow, we clutching on metal with slugs.